Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. Just as I said in yesterday's episode in which we built our North Pole Welcome Center, these are just going to be survival North Pole episodes from now, probably until the end of the year. So today, we are building, I guess, sort of maybe an elf clubhouse, or some kind of large gathering hall. I'm not exactly sure what it will be. Maybe a restaurant or something like that. Now, unlike yesterday's episode, this one will not double as a tutorial. However, I will put out a separate tutorial for this probably later this week. I did already plan out this build in creative mode ahead of time. I'm pretty happy with how it looks, although we might make a change because when I did plan this, it was before the 1.21.4 update, so we didn't have the pale oak yet, but we may make a change and include that. The current palette I have is a combination of cherry and mangrove, but we might swap out that cherry for the pale oak. We will just have to see. For now though, just as we did yesterday, we are going to clear out a large space that will give us a good footprint to work with. It is a fairly sizable building, much larger than what we did yesterday, which is why we're not doing a tutorial for it today. And it looks like we're going to need some shulker boxes as well to throw all of this snow into. So I think something like this should give us enough space. Now I don't want to build this right in the middle here because then we kind of lose out on real estate on either side. So we will offset it. Maybe over in this direction we can always build a foundation below it, or just extend the snow out and have a steeper cliff right there. Again, just as before with yesterday, we are going to restore the mountain and maybe do some trees after we get this building put in. Although I think we did talk about having a tree line, maybe some trees scattered towards the lower layers of the snow, but then have it cut off here towards the top, maybe even right here at our portal. So I think we might actually start with our pale oak logs instead of building with the cherry, because I already know how the cherry looks, but I do want to see how this matches with the mangrove. So this is going to start, we want a little bit of space. Maybe we will have our door line up with the exit of the bubble column elevator, although is this the one that is going down? Yes, it is. Of course, we can always switch this. It's as simple as moving these bottom two blocks. And I think we will probably end up doing that. That way we can have the entrance, once we get to the top, be in line right here, sort of in the middle of all of our transportation that we have. So we'll start this build right here. I think we will have the front door on this block, which means our first pillar right there, and our second one right here. Now, in terms of this building, it is 100% symmetrical, both left and right, and front and back, so it shouldn't be all that difficult for us once we get the main footprint into place. And the building itself is actually turning out to be significantly larger than I thought it was going to be. It looks a lot smaller on a super flat world, but I think we will roll with it. I think it will look quite nice. I'm almost wondering at this point if maybe we want to have it be built into the mountain a little bit. I think that could give us a pretty cool, unique look. And you know what? I think we might as well. We're already experimenting with the pale oak. Let's just go ahead and experiment with that as well. For now though, we are just going to extend these pillars up a few blocks, and then we'll go ahead and get started on the mangrove. Now, similar to our build from yesterday, these are just going to be upside down stairs for the wall to give us a log cabin look. And we'll have something like this across the front, and then here on all of the sides, that same exact pattern. And that will look something like this. I actually really love the way the pale oak logs right here look. Unfortunately, we don't have a stair that matches that, so we are going to strip all of these and get a new look. And I kind of like it, actually. It blends in with the snow, but that looks great with the mangrove, I think. I think it fits the mountaintop a little bit better than the cherry would, so we will probably stick with this. I'm trying to decide here in the front if we want to continue those mangrove stairs all the way down or do some kind of stone foundation, but I think we will hold off on that for now. We're gonna finish up the rest of the outline going around the build, that way we can see how far into the mountainside it actually extends. But I actually think the best way to measure that will be to just get the roof outline put onto here, and then we'll be able to tell. Otherwise, we're gonna have to clear away all of that snow, and it might be a bit of a hassle. So the roof actually has a pretty unique design to it. There are a lot of triangles similar to that right down there. In fact, there's a triangle on almost every single side. I'll explain what I mean by that here in just a second, but we will start in the front, and we are gonna have a stair. Well, we're actually going to have a slab right there, and these will extend all the way across the top. Actually, we need to raise this up by one more layer. So it will be like this and extend all the way across the top, just like this. And then these slabs will come towards the back, and then we will replace this stair, or this slab, with a stair like that, and that will begin our pattern of these stairs going right side up and upside down all the way to the middle. So something like this. We'll look at it from up here since we still need to be on the roof, but then right here we are going to have another triangle. So we will do our slabs right here on this side, and again these are just going to follow that same outline. However, we are going to have another triangle right here, so that is going to be a block and then a stair, and again that same pattern, it's just going to go up towards the middle right here. These slabs will continue across the front, and just as we had right there in the front, another stair in between those slabs, and these will work their way up towards the middle as well. Just like that, I'm going to do the same thing right here, and then we will step back and take a look at it. There we go. So now when we fly away from that, we'll turn around. I'll go ahead and pause the game. We can see those three distinct triangles. And I do love that combination of the mangrove and the pale oak, and it kind of resembles some mountain peaks as well. So we are also going to have these same triangles here on this side. So we will have our stairs, the slabs going all the way across just like that. And again, these are just going to extend up to that single point. And now, as we work our way back towards the snow, we will get a pretty good idea of where we are at with the roof. And there we go. So I think we will end at something like that. And again, the build is symmetrical front and back, left and right, so I'm going to finish up all of these triangles going around the build, and then I will meet you back here once that is finished. So with all of those triangles into place now, our roof looks like this. Pretty soon we will go in and start filling in all of the mangrove, but for now, which is what we are using for the roof, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that, but for now, that's kind of how this will look from up above. Now, of course, all of this roof will be filled in, but part of the build is sort of underground. I think what we will do once we get the roof put on is go in here and hollow the rest of this out right here, but not obstruct any of the rest of the mountain. And of course, we can always extend the rest of this summit up. We can build over in that direction if we want a little more space up top. But again, I think this building is nice and grand and has a great appearance to be sort of front and center here at the top of the mountain. Before we cover up the roof though, of course we need to place down some torches so that we don't have any mobs spawning inside once we get it covered. We are going to stick with mangrove for the roof just to match the walls, and again, I love the way that it looks next to the pale oak, so even better in that regard. And it is just going to follow in between all of these stairs anywhere that we can place them. So I think right here we will leave the rest of that like this, but here in the front, of course, where we don't have the mountain, we can extend these all the way. Actually, we should probably do the walls up here in these gaps before we get too far ahead of ourselves. So the way that will look is on these smaller gaps, we will have a row of mangrove here at the bottom, and then these upside down stairs will actually turn and go across like this, and we will have a trapdoor window in between both of these gaps, just like that. For the larger section here, we will do some pillars here to divide this wall up, just so it's not so dull and boring. And we will go back and strip those logs here in just a second, and again, it's going to be the same thing that we have before, although this time on these two smaller corners, we will not have any windows right here. And we will have a large 1x2 window here in the front. So now we can step back from that, and that is how that looks. Of course, we do need to strip these logs real quick, and now we will get that full experience. It almost looks like a Santa house, but it is a little bit large to have this be Santa's house. I think we will maybe stick with this color scheme though, once we get around to building that. So now I'm going to fill in the rest of the roof with our mangrove stairs, get all of these walls into place, and then we will get to work on the inside. And our roof is all finished. We can fly away and get a really nice look at that. As I said, I think it suits the top of our mountain quite nicely. There is one more thing I would like to add with our deep slate bricks. We are going to put in a couple chimneys here on each side. Now, these are not anything fancy, just something to give a little bit of variation in the roof. So we will extend these up for a few blocks, maybe 2 or 3 above the top middle part of the roof right there. And we will have these on both sides. Now, if we fly away and look at this, we will see the complete exterior look. I just think it looks so fitting for the top of the mountain. Now, there is something I didn't quite think through when I built this with the cherry wood instead of the pale oak, so all of this was a very light pink. We had the cherry trapdoors, which have gaps in them. If we take a look at all of our trapdoor options here, we can see that the cherry trapdoors, it's sort of a grid pattern. The pale oak trapdoors do not have that grid pattern, so those unfortunately will not work for us as windows. We could either go with mangrove, which would give us a solid color all the way across, but I really don't want to do that. We could do oak. I do want to just try cherry trapdoors though, just to see how they look. There is a possibility that it might be okay. I don't know if they will be all that far off from the rest of the build, and honestly, yeah, I think that looks just fine. So we're gonna go with cherry trapdoors for all of our windows all around the build. So I'm gonna go fill all of those in real quick, and then we will head inside and get started on the interior. So for the flooring, I think we will keep things nice and cozy and go with dark oak planks. So we're gonna clear away all of the snow and replace all of the floor. Now, as I said before, I think what we will end up doing here is removing all of the snow here that is on the inside of the build, but keep everything on the outside. So we will still put up a wall, but it will not be visible from the exterior. It almost looks like a gingerbread house from a distance. Of course, as we get closer, we see the red from the mangrove, but just such an awesome location for this build. The build itself is good, but the location does a lot of favors for it. So the floor in here is coming along nicely. We are just about finished with everything that was not under the mountain here. Now we need to clear away the rest of this, which shouldn't be all that bad. Most of it is solid snow, which we can remove pretty quickly. So all of that snow and stone is cleared away. The floor is into place. We are still going to go in with our mangrove and pale oak logs and fill in from the inside. That way it looks complete for us in here, and that way we don't have a wall of snow and stone, but from the outside it will again be covered up. So I'm gonna go grab a little bit more mangrove, we will get all of this finished up, and then our build will be just about finished. And there we have it. Obviously, the interior needs a little bit of work, but generally speaking, it is pretty much finished. I guess we can go ahead and fill in some of these extra gaps up here in the corners. We will get a ceiling put into here. I will probably do that between now and next episode, and I'm seeing one more window right up here that we missed as well. But with all of that finished, that is where we are going to end the episode for today. We're going to step away from that just a little bit so that we can see it there in the background. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, definitely hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!